started on this book, although I still want to have a conversation about the He Understanding Masculine Psychology book. Like, we're going to have a video where we just discuss it in its entirety. However, honestly, I haven't had the energy to make notes for that, but I wanted to get on here and read from this book. So, by the same author, and we're going to start with the, what is it, introduction or preface? Introduction. The story of Amor and Psyche is one of the best elucidations available of the psychology of the feminine personality. It is an ancient pre Christian myth, first recorded in classical Greek times, having enjoyed a long oral tradition before that. It is still pertinent for us today. Pertinent. That it should be so strange That it should be so is not strange, for as the chemistry of the human body is the same today as it was in the Greek times, so also is the unconscious psychological dynamic of human personality. Basic human needs, both physical and psychological, remain fixed, although the form in which they are satisfied may vary from time to time. Which is really interesting the more you think about it, because if things are basically the same or basic psychological needs, since ancient Greek times, but Greece, then how bad is that for us that we are living in such a different world? Can't be healthy. This is why, when we want to study the basic patterns of human behavior and personality, it is instructive to go to the earliest sources where their portrayal is apt to be so direct and so simple we cannot fail to comprehend them. Then, perhaps, if we can understand the basic structure, we can begin to see the variations peculiar to their own time. Myths are rich sources of psychological insight. Great literature, as all great art, records and portrays the human condition with indelible accuracy. Myths are a special kind of literature. They are usually not written or created by a single individual, but are the product of the collective imagination and experience of an entire age and culture. Myths seem to develop gradually. Certain motifs emerge, are elaborated, and finally are rounded out as people tell and retell certain stories that catch and hold their interest. Thus, themes that are universal are kept alive, while those elements peculiar to single individuals usually drop away. Myths, therefore, portray a collective image. They tell about things that are true for all men. I am like, hello, Jose. I'm going to stop for copyright reasons every once in a while, but this is a book reading. Oh, thank you, Tony. This belies our current rationalistic society's definition of myth as something untrue or imaginary. Why, that's a myth. It's not true at all, we hear. But actually, for the reasons suggested above, a myth is profoundly and universally true. A myth may be fantasy, it may be a product of the imagination, but it is nonetheless true and real. It depicts levels of reality that include the outer rational world as well as the less understood inner world within the psyche of each individual. This confusion concerning the narrow definition of reality may be illustrated by the thinking of a small child after a nightmare. A parent may say to be comforting, "It was only a dream, the monster was not real." But the child is unconvinced, and rightly so. To him, it was real, as alive and real as any outer experience. The monster he dreamed about was in his head and not in his bedroom, but it had, nonetheless, an awesome reality with power over the child's emotional and physical reactions. It had an inner reality for him that cannot and should not be denied. Yes, I as a parent, like, I really yeah, the I remember as a child, fears being, like, brushed off so much, so it's like it's more helpful to actually acknowledge, like, you don't have to be frightful with them, but, like, acknowledge their feelings are valid. Oh, thank you very much. I'm reading from this book called She Understanding Feminine Psychology. It's written by Robert A. Johnson, but using Jungian psychology, Carl Jung. I already read the book He Understanding Masculine Psychology in this last week. A myth is a product of the collective imagination and not of scientific or rational development, but it is profoundly real. Because of its manner of development through years of retelling and refining by countless people, it carries a powerful collective meaning. Myths have been carefully studied by many psychologists. Carl Jung, for example, in his studies of the underlying structure of the human personality, paid particular attention to myths. He found in them an expression of basic psychological patterns. We may hope to do the same with our study of Amor and Psyche. But first, we must learn to think mythologically, a delightful and thrilling process. Powerful things happen when we touch the mythological thinking that myths, fairy tales, and our own dreams bring to us. The terms and settings of the old myths are strange. They seem archaic and distant to us, but if we listen to them carefully and take them seriously, we begin to hear and to understand. Sometimes it is necessary to translate a symbolic meaning, but this is not difficult once we see how it can be done. I was really blessed to it was like a gifted class. We learned about Roman and Greek mythology when I was in 5th grade, and it really is something that all children should do. Um, Let me see. Many psychologists who have read Amour and Psyche have interpreted it as a statement of the feminine personality. Perhaps it would be wise at the very beginning of the study to say that we are speaking of femininity wherever it is found in men as well as women, because all men have, an inner feminine and all women have an inner masculine. And Carl Jung doesn't say this, but I believe like most men, are masculine dominant, right? Most females are feminine dominant energy wise, but yeah, of course we have the males that are dominant feminine and the females that are dominant male, right? And that's okay, right? um Young, in one of his most profound insights, showed that just as genetically every man has recessive female chromosomes and hormones, so too every man has a group of feminine psychological characteristics that make up a minority element within him. A woman likewise has a psychological masculine minority component within her. The man's feminine side, Young called the anima, the woman's masculine side, he called the animus. Much has been written about the anima and the animus, and we will have more to say about both of them later. At this point, suffice it to say that whenever we speak of the feminine aspects of the Amor and Psyche myth, we are speaking not only about women, but also about the man's anima, his feminine side. The connection may be more obvious to a woman since femininity is her major psychological quality, yet there will also be something of a parallel to a man's anima. So this is interesting to me because in the He book, they did not say the same thing about the man's inner feminine, like also being like, that's really interesting. His inner masculine being akin to the female's masculine is what I meant. Okay, thank you, Allison. Now I'm going to start with chapter 1. This chapter isn't long at all. Let us begin then with our story of Amor and Psyche. It seems that there was a kingdom. There is always a kingdom. That is the beginning of everything. There is a king and a queen, and they had 3 daughters. The 2 eldest daughters are ordinary princesses, if a princess can be ordinary. They are not very remarkable. Their third daughter, who is named Psyche, is an extraordinary person. She is beautiful, charming, so like a goddess in her bearing, her speech, and her whole personality that a cult of worship has sprung up around her. People have begun to say, here is the new Aphrodite, here is the new goddess. Now, Aphrodite was an age old goddess of femininity who had reigned since the beginning. No one knew just how long, but people began saying that Psyche was taking her place. In the poetic and beautiful terms of the myth, the ashes of the sacramental fires in the temple of Aphrodite grew cold. The different origins of these two, Aphrodite and Psyche, are significant. When the genitals of the god Uranus were severed and fell into the sea was fertilized and Aphrodite was born. Her birth was immortalized in a magnificent painting by Botticelli called Birth of Venus. Venus is a Roman name for Aphrodite. The painting depicts Venus being born and upon a wave standing on a shell. It is an exquisitely beautiful thing. On the other hand, it was rumored that Psyche was born when a dewdrop from the sky fell upon the land. Here we begin our mythological unraveling. And I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I believe like this is part like they don't want us to be critical thinkers anymore, and like they don't want us to like have this ability to digest and interpret literature in these ways because that would just lead to more critical thinking basically being able to not be their little wage slaves. The difference between these two births, if properly understood, reveals the different natures of these two goddesses. Aphrodite is a goddess born out of the sea. She is primeval, oceanic femininity. She is of a pre conscious evolutionary time. She is at home at the bottom of the sea and holds court there. As Eric Newman has said, she is a goddess of swamp fertility. In psychological terms, she reigns in the unconscious, symbolized by the waters of the sea. She is therefore scarcely approachable on normal, conscious human terms. One can hardly cope with oceanic femininity. One might as well argue with a tidal wave. It is difficult to touch or come to terms with the Aphrodite nature, as it is primitive femininity. One can admire or worship or be crushed by it, or one can go the way of this myth. Psyche's way of evolving to a new level of femininity. Those are the choices. Every woman has an Aphrodite in her who is easily recognized, her chief characteristics being vanity, conniving lust, fertility, and tyranny when she is crossed. Tyranny. There are marvelous stories about Aphrodite in her court. She has a servant who walks before her carrying a mirror so that she may constantly admire herself. Someone continually makes perfume for her. She is jealous and will stand no competition whatsoever. She is always arranging marriages and is never satisfied until everyone is busily serving her aims of fertility. Women who are matchmakers and who are not satisfied if any bachelor is left loose are Aphrodites. Actually, one sees Aphrodite everywhere. Excuse me. At every supermarket. Aphrodite parks her grocery cart squarely in the middle of the aisle and says, "If you won't court me, you will at least bump into me." That is Aphrodite. Um, wow. See, I would have never thought to come up with an analogy like that. It is very embarrassing for a modern, reasonably intelligent woman to discover her own Aphrodite nature and all of the primitive, instinctive tricks she plays. I'm not saying I've never played any primitive instinctive tricks, but I don't do that shit with the grocery carts that drives me bananas. It is, oh, I'm sorry, I just read that. Naturally, when a new kind of femininity appears on the stage of evolution, Aphrodite, goddess of the old femininity, is going to be irate, for she is beyond morality. She is before the time of morality. She will use any means at her disposal to down an opponent. She is, in fact, a thorough bitch. Every woman knows this through her own sudden regressions to her Aphrodite nature, for a woman is a terrifying figure when she falls into it. Every male around her trembles, for men are terrified of Aphrodite. It is a calmer household where someone can gently say, "Now look, sweet, remember Aphrodite?" I also think, like, is this like from our caveman days, like, this primitive nature? They're going to explain it with the Aphrodite and Psyche myth, but also it just makes me think of it. It comes instinctually from those days. Yeah, Aphrodite is a valuable person. She is that basic instinctive motherhood necessary for reproduction of the species. As time goes on, we will see that she does not crush Psyche. On the contrary, she does all that is right to make Psyche grow. Though she is so unpleasant about it, one does not feel like giving her a great deal of credit. One of the beautiful things about the structure of unconscious and human personality is that when it is time for growth, the old ways, the old habits pave the way and welcome the new. They seem to persecute the new growth at every point, but who knows? Perhaps that is the correct way to bring a new consciousness to birth. Yeah, I really like that. It's like everything, no matter what you've been through, if you can get to a place where you're like mostly satisfied with your life, then you should be more okay with all the crap that happened before because it all had to happen to get you to the point where you are at. There is a story about the first elephant born in captivity. Its keeper was horrified when the other elephants in the compound gathered in a circle and tossed the baby to each other. The keeper thought they were killing it, but they were only making it breathe. Often, when new growth occurs, the most dreadful things seem to happen, but then one sees that they were exactly what was required. Aphrodite, who is criticized at every turn, does everything to make Psyche's evolution possible. One can be optimistic after the fact, but it is devilishly painful while it is happening. There is a sort of chaotic evolutionary warfare within one during this time. The old way, the Aphrodite nature in this case, is regressive, pulling one back into unconsciousness, yet at the same time forcing one forward into new life, sometimes at great risk. It may be that evolution could be accomplished in another way. It may be that at times, excuse me, guys, Aphrodite is the only element that can bring about growth. There are women, for example, who would not grow unless they had a tyrant of a mother in law. Aphrodite turns up regularly, and mother-in-laws, oh my gosh, I can relate to that. The wicked stepmother is also a parallel. Most of the turmoil for a modern woman is a collision between her Aphrodite nature and her Psyche nature. It may help her to have a framework for understanding the process because if she can see what is happening, she is already well on her way to a new consciousness. Recognizing Aphrodite can be of great value to her. When a man can recognize Aphrodite in a woman and know what to do or what not to do, he is better off as well. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and read chapter 2, and I'm an incredibly anxious person, and I know that's like it's like a mental disorder. It's not like it's not shouldn't be anybody's normal, but I just wonder like how much that might play into not that I'm trying to blame it on my Aphrodite nature. Oh, hey Jay Hardy, how are you doing tonight? I kind of decided to hop on here kind of suddenly. I really wanted to get this started. I'm reading from the She book. I just read chapter 1, Jay Hardy. I don't know if you when exactly you got here. Hey, Yoder, how are you doing? I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 2 now. Now that we have learned something of the nature of Aphrodite, the older, more primitive level of femininity, let us look at the new arrival on the scene, Psyche. Psyche was born when a dewdrop fell on the land. The land is a symbol for consciousness, so we can see a change from the ocean to the land. Instead of oceanic proportions of unconsciousness, we have the manageable waters of a dewdrop. Psyche's nature is so magnificent, so unworldly, so virginal and pure that she is worshipped, but she is not courted. That is a horribly lonely experience, and poor Psyche can find no husband. In this sense, in this sense, there is a psyche in every woman, and it is intensely lonely. Every woman is, in part, a king's daughter, too lovely, too perfect, too deep for the ordinary world. When a woman finds herself lonely and not understood, when she finds that people are good to her but just stay a little distance away, she has found the psyche nature in her own person. It is terribly painful. Women are often excruciatingly aware of the situation without knowing its origin, which is the psyche nature, and there's nothing that can be done about it. That part of one will remain untouched, unrelated, unmarried most of one's life. Oh my goodness gracious. That's so funny. I almost had a chit chatty live and yeah, I'm not even gonna say we'll talk at the end of this. Shaban, Carl Jung, this is derived from Jungian psychology. Like it talks a lot about Christianity, actually, in the He book more so. Now we're talking about a Greek. But anyways, all manner of nonsense goes on when a woman tries to bring her psyche nature into the everyday give and take of a relationship. If the psyche nature is a large part of a woman, she has a painful task on her hands. She bursts into tears and says, "But nobody understands." And it is true, nobody understands. Every woman has this quality within her. It makes no difference what her station in life may be. If one knows of this quality and can touch it in a woman, the great beauty of a psyche can be made conscious in her, and a noble evolution may begin. If a woman is very beautiful, the problem is compounded. Marilyn Monroe is a good example. She was worshipped far and wide, yet she never succeeded in relating closely to anyone. Finally, she found it intolerable. Such a person seems to be the carrier of a goddess like quality and almost unapproachable perfection. If one understands, perhaps one can set in motion the evolution that was required of Psyche, but it is not easy. I once saw a film in which two horribly disfigured people in an institution fell in love with each other. Through the magic of fantasy, they made each infinitely beautiful to the other, and a love affair went on between these two handsome, beautiful people. At the end of the movie, the camera blurred back to show the two originally disfigured faces, but the audience knew where they had been. They had seen the god and goddess within. Psyche is the distress of her parents because, while her two older sisters are married happily to neighboring kings, no one asks for Psyche's hand. They only worship her. The king goes to an oracle who happens to be dominated by Aphrodite, and she, irate and jealous of Psyche, has the oracle deliver a terrible judgment that Psyche is to be married to Death, the ugliest, the most horrible, the most awful creature possible. Psyche is to be taken to the top of the mountain, chained to a rock, and left to be ravished by this dreadful creature, Death. Okay. Hi, Billy Clancy. How are you? Jay Hardy, this is a book. The author is Robert Johnson, but he is using Jungian psychology because Carl Jung, he yeah, had a lot, I don't know, what do you call them, theories? He basically, I think he's better than Freud. Oh my goodness gracious, I cannot move my chat. Okay. The pronouncements of the oracles were received without recourse in Greek society. They were considered absolutely final. So Psyche's parents don't question this decision. They make a wedding procession, which is a funeral cortege. Cortege? I'm sorry, I don't know this word. Cortege. Take Psyche as instructed and chain her to the rock at the top of the mountain. There are floods of tears. Wedding finery and funeral darkness are mixed together. Then the parents extinguish the torches and leave Psyche alone in the dark. What can we make of this? Psyche is to be married. Her husband will come. But this is an unhappy occasion because her husband is death itself. The maiden dies on her wedding day. Her wedding is a funeral. But this is instructive. Many of our wedding customs are actually funeral customs. In primitive weddings, marriage was celebrated as such. It was at once a funeral, a transformation, and a joyous outburst. Many of our customs stem from primitive times when weddings were abductions and the best man and his friends were abductors. The bridesmaids were protectors of the virginity of the bride. If a man could not win a woman in this way, he was not worthy of her. Funeral rites and abduction ceremonies are still present in our weddings. One is not inclined to remind people of this on wedding days, but many a bride cries on her wedding day. Instinctively, she knows that the maiden in her is dying. One of the problems with marriage is that we no longer recognize or observe this duality in custom or ritual, and all manner of trouble comes from this fact. But the dual impact of marriage is simply inescapable. It is as much ours as it was the ancient Greeks, yet it is ignored. We do not have a place for the girl's dying experience in the wedding. We try to make it all happy and white and pink and joyous, but somewhere we should reckon with the dying part. If we do not, that component will have to be lived out at a later, perhaps less appropriate time. This is generally experienced by the woman as a fierce resentment against her marriage. I have seen a picture of a Turkish wedding party in which boys of 8 or 9 each had one foot bound to his thigh and was hopping on one leg. This was to remind everyone that pain was present at the wedding as well as joy. Some African weddings are not valid unless the bride arrives with scars and wounds evident on her. We would call that barbaric, and it is, but elemental reality and had best be observed somewhere along the way. Perhaps a girl who comes to her mother a few hours before the wedding and bursts into tears is wise. For if the sacrificial element of a wedding is given its due, the joy of the marriage is possible. Aphrodite does not like maidens to die at the hands of men. It is not her nature to be subject to a man. So the Aphrodite in a woman is either crying or fuming or both at her wedding. Here again, we observe the paradox of evolution mentioned earlier. It is Aphrodite who condemns Psyche to death, but who is also the matchmaker who brings about weddings in the first place. Yet Aphrodite also weeps and rages at the wedding for the possible loss of the bride's freedom and individuality, for the loss of her virginity. The forward push of evolution toward marriage is accompanied by a regressive tug of longing for the autonomy and freedom of things as they were before. One more paragraph and this chapter's over. A wedding is a powerful time. All manner of elemental forces are loose. I once saw a cartoon that summed up the archetypal power of a wedding with great genius. It showed the thoughts of each of the parents. The father of the bride is angry at that fellow who is audacious enough to snatch his darling daughter away from him. The father of the groom is triumphant at the supremacy of the males of the community, for a day at least. The mother of the bride is horrified at the beast of the groom who is intruding. The mother of the groom is horrified at the creature who has seduced her pure son away from her. All of the archetypes, those ancient embedded patterns of thought and behavior laid down in the unconscious of the human psyche through countless years of evolution, were depicted in this cartoon. That is so funny. So mother-in-laws were always like this? Most, a lot. Like, I know not all mother-in-laws. So I think I'm gonna stop there for tonight. So anybody that's listening to this, for the book, we did chapters 1 and 2, and we are all done reading, and now I want to talk to you guys. It's She, Understanding Feminine Psychology. I know it's backwards to you guys, like the text when I hold it up like that. Courting, courtage. Am I saying it right? Yes, you spelled it as it's courtage. Okay, thank you, Yoder. I'm glad that you told me that because like I should be able to remember that now. Um, thank you, Billy. So how are you doing, guys? I've had kind of a crappy day, honestly, but I'm glad that we got to start this book. And yeah, I really wanted to say hi. I was so disappointed. I thought I was like getting ready to upload dozens of emojis for my memberships, and then like I figured out that stickers that I made weren't able to save to my photos. They used to be able to, but I guess since this new update, the last update, it won't let me save stickers the way I used to be able to, so I can't. And I made all these cool stickers out of so many pictures of my flowers and my dogs and my cat. And I even had like some really cute ones because I take pictures of food sometimes. Like I had this really cute one of like avocado toast. And I know that sounds goofy, but it was cute. And like I had this really, like some old log cabins like in this historical place in Danville, like it was just like a log cabin, it's like the perfect cutout of it, and I was so mad at myself. I spent like 2 hours of that yesterday to realize like I couldn't do it. And but the point is I could do better with my memberships, and I'm sorry that I haven't yet. Why callous? What is confusing? I'm all done reading the book. To anybody that's here for the title of it, it was a book reading where I read 2 chapters. I usually read like 2 chapters at a time. But yeah, I think it's already interesting to me how they're not talking about I mean, maybe they will get ready to, but it was like right off the bat with the He book, they're talking about the internalized struggle that all males go through and how it starts, with a incident in childhood, which carries with him to adulthood when he can touch upon the same thing again. And I just almost feel like this is like, oh, here's female nature and this is the way it is. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, She tries so hard, love all day. What are you talking about, Jay Hardy? Life is hard. Yes, it is for men and women, for sure. Like Mennonites don't say dating, they say oh so and so is courting so and so. Uh, that's so cute. Courting. That's so old fashioned. I love that. But yeah, I know that like a few of you guys I just I don't know, it feels conceited in a way, but then it's like I have this YouTube channel where I share things about my life, right? So it's like then when I go to talk about myself, I feel like a little conceited and like I wanted to make a post that I wasn't going to go live last night and then I'm like, oh, like, there might be a few people that would like to know that, but then I feel like conceited sharing that with everybody. But anyways, um, yeah, I just don't know exactly what's going on in my marriage. Like, he asked if we could go to counseling, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jay Hardy." Like, of course, I'm not gonna say like no completely, but I just feel like it's counseling isn't gonna fix it. You know what I mean? And I'm doing well though. I want you guys to know that I'm happy. It's just a lot to process, and I really, really like focusing on things like this, like, I know I have issues, like, I've gotten some really great emails from some lovely people, so I do not mean this towards any like, I have had the sweetest like, I don't regret sharing what I shared, if only just because of the women that reached out to me, you know who you are, that, like, were just so incredibly, like, lovely and wonderful, and, I would do anything to have that kind of love for my husband, and it makes me sad. It's not that he doesn't love me. It's not that he isn't a great husband most of the time. It's just like that like men can be so cold and like the he book when we were reading about like not letting your mood overtake you as a man. And I was really interested to see how this book will relate to that because they said that mood was his inner anima or his inner female, right? And I'm just like, I do work on myself every day, I really do, like, I wish there was some kind of contraption that it could put on your head, some kind of sensors you could put on your brain or something to show people that don't have anxiety, like, what living with anxiety is like, but that's not to say that, like, I deserve extra special treatment because it is my battle, and I don't think that but at the same time, it'd be nice to just have the consideration, but, like, I get it, like, it's burdensome, right? And it's like, yeah, I really, really need to focus on my YouTube and everybody that I need to email back, like I will email you back. And yeah, I'm sorry, Jay Hardy. I had a headache for like 4 days straight, and then I wasn't even gonna get on here today. And honestly, I was like, if I do get on here and read this and talk to you guys, I'm gonna feel better because I was feeling like so extremely anxious. I couldn't even fold laundry. Like the that's so ridiculous, and unless you've been there, like, it's just, why can't I fold laundry? Like, I was, like, walking around in circles, and I'm like, I still have a little bit of makeup on, I'm just gonna, like, hop on here. Not that I always have to have makeup on, I'm sure you guys are gonna see me without makeup, especially with these bright ass lights, like, they are, like, wearing makeup. I ruined your Wednesday TV show, oh, no. Hold on, what are you talking about, Yoder? Isn't it Monday? Oh, Jay Hardy, I apologize too much. But yeah, it's like I think a lot of us struggle to understand um the opposite sex, and it's interesting. What if a lot of it was about understanding the inner masculine side of yourself if you're a woman, or the inner feminine side of yourself if you're a man, and if you can relate easier to that, and the fact so many people would automatically, like, just the thought of the inner feminine, I don't mean this towards anybody in the chat because I really don't think you'd be sitting here if you felt this way, or about all men at all. But the men that would automatically like recoil, "Ew, inner feminine, ew, gross," like that kind of mentality. There's a lot more of that than the women that would be like, "My inner masculine, what?" And that's because of misogyny. I have to say it. And it would just almost make sense, like, to rationalize it in the most rationable way possible that the gender that is so much more outwardly emotional is also going to, bring upon it a lot of um, dislike. I don't want to say hate. Men don't say this, but a lot of times they don't feel appreciated, and some men clam up and don't say a word. I'm going to pray for you and your husband. Thank you, Billy Clancy. Yes, and right, and a lot of things. It's like it's not what you say; it's how you say it. Like I can be very sarcastic. My approach with him and my tone of voice isn't always ideal. In my defense, it is usually the typical. Like it's just so interesting. We have like the same complaints, men and women. Like. Uh, Generally across the board, and this isn't talking about, like, abusive relationships, I'm never talking about straight up abusive marriages, although I do feel like ignoring me for 9 days was some kind of emotional neglect. I don't claim continual emotional neglect or any kind of abuse, but, what did Billy say? Oh, yeah, appreciate it in some way. It is definitely something I think that I do a good job on, and it was something that I've been asking him, "Can you praise me to our children the way I praise you to our children?" Can you say things about me the way I say things about like your work ethic and your sacrifices for us and stuff? And then it's kind of like to have to ask for that from somebody, it never really happened. And he did apologize for that. He's like, "Yeah, and now our kids, our older kids are teenagers, I asked him for that for several years. So it goes both ways. And like I said that the other night, like men and women both thrive off respect, right? And I think there is this trope where it is funny to some people in a like entertainment kind of way. Like it is accepted more for a woman to be abusive or mean towards her man, and that is a problem. That isn't right. Both me and my husband are pretty laid back, and but at the same time we're kind of like sensitive. Like we don't joke around like that because we're both the same way. Some couples can, joke around and not get upset with each other or whatever. But like that's why me calling him a jerk was like such a big deal because like I don't ever call him names at all, But I've had, like, some people just, like, that had misandry, not misogyny. Women are excited to be masculine now. They think it's more control. Well, Gary, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not trying to change it, but in my opinion, I think it's just the way the world is. Women becoming more masculine is just a response to our environment and just survival at this point. And some of it is quite physical. I have PCOS. The first time I ever got tested, I was 16 years old. My testosterone and estrogen was inverted. Like whatever it was supposed to be, it was literally that flipped, like the opposite. Mm, Excuse me. I almost wonder if it has helped me maybe understand men a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know. Do I? Oh, Jay Hardy, what's going on? Defensive right now? What do you I'm sorry, I hope what's going on? Melvin plays with his beehives and comes in so happy with himself like a toddler on his birthday. I grow a plant. I tried hard to do. Cheers me on Yoda. That's so sweet. Yes, to have goals that you work on towards together is thanks, Gary. Gary said, sure, I respect your opinion as well. But and I do understand I've heard that a lot, like women becoming more masculine, and yeah, I could care less about his bees, he could care less about my plants. Yeah. But we love each other and to see them happy. Yes. Yes, that's sweet. Billy, I've seen this before, women putting their husbands down in public wedding vows say honor and cherish. Right. Yeah. And I never said anything bad about him at all. Like anybody that's watched me on a regular basis can testify to this until 3 days ago when I was like, I'm done. And and guess who wants to go to counseling now that I made it public? And I'm like, I wish I didn't have to air out our dirty laundry in public for you to come to the point where you're like, I don't want this to end, but I know we need to work on it. Because before that, it was like me saying, we have these issues, like something has to change, I don't know what, but like, let's try to resolve this somehow. And then it was him. And I think a lot of men do this. They just like brush it off, think that we'll just act like it didn't happen, and but then you bottle up resentment. I hold resentment for him, he holds resentment for me. Um, don't need more masculine women. I'm here, ladies. Jay Hardy said, yeah, and it's masculine. is giving, feminine is receiving. Like, motherhood can be a little masculine in nature sometimes. Think about it. Think about like protecting your young, and it's not. But I do understand what you guys are saying. Like women overall, like becoming like too masculine or like too aggressive and like not being the soft, approachable, gentle, feminine nature you prefer. I do get that. I feel the same way too because they're mean to me too. It's like they're not nice to me either. It's not just the men. Like there's so many women with their nose up in the air, and a lot of it is social media, and it's warped their brains. Um, oh, you don't have to delete things like "Are you a painter?" Fuck you, stunning fruit. Oh, Mr. Carey, how are you? Okay, Jay Hardy, you're saying that was a joke. Oh, to Hi, David. How are you? But we already read the first two chapters to this book. Now we're just talking. Anybody that saw the chapter, the title, ugh. I want to try to read this week. We got through the He book in a week, and I'm still gonna do the video where we're just like gonna discuss the He book. And I just didn't feel like making notes today. The weather was so amazing. Oh my gosh, the weather was so great. I'm so excited. I got this cute little video of a swallowtail caterpillar. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? They're like green, yellow, black, white stripes, and when you touch them, the orange things pop out of their head. I got a video of that. And they're like, "Hi, James, how are you?" Well, I am married still, just so everybody knows. Billy, here's something that I have learned a long time ago. If somebody asks for forgiveness, we forgive them, we accept them, and we love them. Okay, Billy. Well, I wish that it worked like that. And then and there's things that he has resentment for me too, so, you're ecstatic. Oh, that's nice. I don't know if I've ever asked somebody how they were before and they said, "I'm ecstatic." That's nice. It's nice to hear. Yeah, I promise, like, I mean it. By the end of this year, I'll have a computer where I'm like screen sharing with you guys, and I'll always have interesting things to share with you to show. And I'm really excited about that. I am so all over the place. And if that's your thing, but I was thinking about maybe even making it like 'cause so many news, and not to call myself the news, but so many sources of media, can be, like, negative or all positive, but I would start mine off with the negative things and end it positively. That would be my little, like, spin, and, like, end it on, I mean, like, so positively, end it on, like, cute dog videos. Saw a squirrel through my whole day off, Jay Hardy said. That's funny. Me and one of my friends used to have that joke, 'cause we'd be all over the place with our conversation, and we used to always say, "It's a squirrel," or "Look at a squirrel." Most people say sad words like, "I'm making it." Right, James, because so many people are struggling now. But that's good to have a good attitude, and your day will be better, right? Um, Jay Hardy, I have a computer. I need to get the internet. I would like to get a laptop. I have like a desktop computer. I'm looking at it right now. I need to get the internet. The last internet service we had, like we couldn't even stream the Roku on it. My son could play his video games though, but I don't think I could use, so they have another service available, that we're like in the area of Kentucky where it really starts to get crappy with the internet service. Oh, hi, John. I think you've came in here and said I love you before, haven't you? I love you too, John. Mississippi squirrel. Looking for love in all the wrong places, Mr. Carey. How are you, Mr. Carey? I don't think I saw you reply. I need to email you, Mr. Carey. But yeah, I don't want to, I don't have the intention of getting on here and talking about what's going on with my marriage. Just know, like, it is what it is. I've already said what happened, and anybody who has reached out to me and like given words of encouragement. Like everybody has been so, and everybody's been like the same way that's like definitely encouraging me to try to work on my marriage, but at the same time letting me know that like they've I have their support regardless. And that means a lot to me. Like it really does mean a ton. And I still feel like a little bit of a jackass, honestly, I do, but it's like, l see what has to happen, and then I'm like, "Every 10 years, are we gonna have a falling out? Is this just gonna be, like, the way our relationship is?" Because I don't want that, I don't wanna be having a falling out when I'm, like, going on 50 years old with my, husband of 25 years. Billy plants, and now I wanna talk about my pepper plants, and I planted pepper plants in raised bed, they are doing well, I'm going to have a lot of peppers, red peppers, and yellow peppers. I love pepper plants. I have some summer squash that's doing really well in like my waist high bed, and I'm hopeful because it's like what, like 3 feet off the ground. It's going to take forever for that to really freeze, and I'll cover it up with a little greenhouse. But I'm just now getting summer squash. Oh no, John, I'm definitely not interested in monkey branching. Jay Hardy, thank you. I've never lived alone my whole life, and not that I want to necessarily. I probably like with my 8-year-old and probably wouldn't, but um, like it's nice to have more alone time, just like being a little bit more on my own. I love being a mom. I never regretted for a second being a mom, and I do want to make some more content. The birth rate thing is really interesting to me, and I got good views on it. I hope I don't wear any of my regular viewers out talking about it, but I just think it's super interesting. And I'm not saying this like I'm some kind of oracle, like I saw it coming, but I remember thinking like 10 years ago, like it's wrong to encourage women to wait. I know that's going to sound wrong to some people. It's wrong to not be honest with women that their most fertile, the best years for them to reproduce and everything are their 20s. And like we need to be honest with that about women. Yeah, we need to be honest with women about that. I'm sorry. I I'm a little worn out. Living alone is great. Good evening, Brad. How are you? Thank you so much, Jay Hardy. When I get my YouTube check, I'm gonna be able to get, gosh, I don't even know. I can't keep up with it. You have hella money. Oh, that must be nice. Well, John, that's impossible because I don't have a uterus, so nobody can reproduce with me ever unless we harvest my eggs and get a surrogate. Oh, geez Louise. And I am not going through all that. I've heard that that is really painful. And now that I have my hysterectomy, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I don't know what the way they go, how they get to your ovaries. Well, they have to like go through my stomach. I can't give birth either, Mr. Carey said. That's so funny though. It's something that because I had another hernia made during the surgery, like it's not constant pain. It's really not. It's like that feeling you get in your side when you run really hard, that sharp pain. It's like the very super beginning of that, but it's like constant. um anyways, I still haven't really it hasn't hit me that I don't have a uterus yet. Summer squash is so good. It's full of vitamin A, and you can do so many things with summer squash. Yes, Billy Clancy, I'm gonna shred a lot of it and freeze it. I like to freeze it in like 1 cup portion sizes in a muffin pan, and then you have the perfect little portions. I want to make flour out of it. I never done that before. Dehydrate it. Oh shoot, I don't have my dehydrator anymore, but I don't know. Maybe I could use my oven. I've used my oven to dehydrate other things, but for some reason I don't and I love to fry it. One of my emojis was gonna be fried zucchini. Oh, that's fine, James. Nothing wrong with that. Acorn squash is your favorite, Yoder? Oh, I like that. It's been a while since I've had that. I grow it, but not this year. Dozen kids never gave birth, Jay Hardy said. I thought you had 7. Yoder, Mr. Carey, LOL, weenie roast to clipping now. Oh, John. See how men are? He said he wants to reproduce with me. Now he's saying he wants to fix my nose. See, guys, my whole life, it's like I really couldn't care what anybody says about it. I'm like so used to people talking about it. You make a badass eggplant moussaka. I don't. Okay, you're making a joke, aren't you? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry if you're not making a joke. I've never heard of that before. Well, guys, I feel like I'm a little like low energy and I wanted to let everybody know that I miss you. Every day I'm not on here, like I really do miss you guys. I'm like last night when I had a headache last night. It was um something, it's like the change of seasons. I get these headaches for like days straight, and they're not really bad. Like once again, it barely affects me, but it's just persistent and annoying. Okay, I need to block you. That's what I need to do. Miss you and Anna and Lydia. Oh, Mr. Carey, we miss you. Oh my gosh, okay, no, I thought I accidentally deleted Mr. Carey's comment, but I didn't. Oh, thank you, James Mac. I love my nose too. And the scar stopped bleeding, so that's good. I must have been too aggressive, like scrubbing with my wash. And I have this pore vacuum. It really is awesome. It's what it sounds like. It's this little thing that sucks the stuff out of your pores. It really does work. But be careful if you've had any sinus surgery because I swear it's what made my sinus hole open up the second time because I was using it because I have huge pores. Oh my gosh, like here. And anyways, it was like right here where I had already had it repaired. And so I don't use it over there at all. I just use it on my nose. But I love that thing. But it's the kind of thing. Jay Hardy, 7, my second just had a baby you just had a baby, Jay Hardy, like today or however recently. Congratulations. Is it a boy or a girl? That's so exciting. I can't wait to start having grandbabies. Oh, I can. My oldest is 18. Like I know I can't help it. I'm gonna be yeah, I would love it. Of course, I want them to be ready, but I'm just saying. I was wondering that if you were gonna block John. Yeah, at first he was just being a little goofy, but then he had to go there. That is so awesome, Jay Hardy. My sister says she doesn't want to have kids because she's scared how they might turn out, the Rooker said. Um, that makes me sad. Oh, Jay Hardy, thank you. I thought oh, thank you. You're so sweet. It's a boy. Oh, so is this hold on. I'm sorry. Did you say is this your first grandbaby? 7, my second just had a baby. Is this your first grandbaby? That's so exciting. Oh, you do, Yoder? Should I call you after this, Yoder? I'm kind of wired. If you can't, like I said, I'm low energy, but like I just mean in a chatty kind of way, like with you guys. And um, but yeah, do you want to talk about I don't know. So maybe I'll just say this since like a few of us are in here right now. I commented on Aaron's post where he was making fun of me, and because I just happened to click within a half an hour of this woman saying, "What are you talking about?" to Aaron, and I was like, "He's talking about me," and because he's not a very nice person, and I thought it was really interesting. Aaron's like, "Ah, I thought I blocked her." No, um, you block women that say anything that you don't like at all in a flash, but you won't block the man that's giving you and your son death threats. Like, make that make sense. Like, I'm talking about Henson. For a long time, he was saying how he was giving him death threats, but he wouldn't block him. And, um, okay, I will call it in a few minutes. Everything will be okay one way or the other. It will work out. Hey, Pyramid, how are you? Yeah, I was just saying, like, I mean, we have agreed to go to counseling together, but like, I know a lot of people are going to look down on me for it, and I'm sorry for like getting emotional and everything. But I've said the same thing to him. I just don't know. Like, I'm down to go to counseling. I think we should go to counseling, whatever happens to us, but I just don't think it's going to make him love me. Like, he loves me, but you know what I mean. Love me. To the and it's just like been the same struggle. I told him after we had our second son, marry me by the time the lease goes up or I'm gone. I'm not going to be a baby mama forever. We had been engaged for over a year. And I would not recommend to give any man that ultimatum because then for the rest of your marriage, maybe not every woman, but for a slightly neurotic, anxious woman like me, you're going to think in the back of your mind, you made him do it. He's not really there for you because he wants to be there for you. But then, like I said, we were separated for 13 months living in different states. He was in Florida, I was in Kentucky, and we decided to get back together. We had a divorce agreement written up by we had a divorce mediator we were both talking to. The divorce agreement was written up, like ready to sign. Like we were so close and we both decided like to make it work. And then at that point I'm like, obviously he wants to be with me or like he would have just stayed in Florida, you know? And like but it's just the ebb and flow of relationships. That's why I've never tried to paint a picture of like a perfect marriage. And I've always said, like, so many people do, right? Like people who are married long term, that we all say the same stuff. Marriage is so hard. It is not for the weak of heart. It is very difficult. And you never know what each day might bring, you know? Some people are, you know, going through so much. Mr. Carey, that 90s song, Let's Talk About Blank Baby, All the Good Things and the Bad Things, that song stuck in my head. Well, thanks, Mr. Carey. Now it's going to be stuck in my head too. Oh, that's funny. I was listening to, I know it wasn't TLC that did that song, but I was listening to TLC with my son and his friend in the car. It is gonna be all right, James Mack, no matter what. And that's the thing, just so everybody knows, like we are so good together. We're one of those couples where it's like when we were apart, it's like if you can get along so well, why can't you just like stay together? You know what I mean? Like I know you never know what's going on behind closed doors, but like when we're separated, like we really good friends. Like we treat each other better. You know what I mean? Because it's not like clashing over you know, the same shit. My estranged son had a son. Oh, Jay Hardy, okay. Well, I hope I hope it works out so you can see the baby. So I know that might be a kind of a tricky situation. I'll be thinking good thoughts for you about that. But that is a wonderful thing to be celebrating new life. If it happens, it happens. Life is wonderful, Billy said. Yes. Play Boys to Men music. He will want you. Oh my gosh. That is so funny, Mr. Carey. Yeah, he likes like well, not Boys to Men, but he likes old school hip hop and rap. Jay Hardy, my mailman, is the same situation. He sat with me and looked sad as he dropped off the mail. I gave him a beer. Oh, Yoder said. That's so sad. Grandpa, how are you? Tough love, like with Wayward Son. There'll be peace when you are done. Don't you cry no more. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, it was so funny to me. One of my last shifts at Med Job, the young guys in their 20s listening to like 80s music. What okay, I'm gonna be really annoying for a second and I'm sorry. What is that 80s song where the saxophone goes, you know what I'm talking? Mr. Carey, you should know that. Was that a good enough? I'm not gonna do it anymore, don't worry. But it was so freaking funny to me that these guys in their 20s like are like jamming out to like what we listened to in the car when we were kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we really are old. OPP is an old one, 90s rap. Yeah. Um, okay. Now I really regret doing that. Because I was like, somebody's gonna know. If anybody, Mr. Carey, well, oh, okay. So okay, I got too loud or whatever. I'm glad it does it because like when I yell at my dogs, like it doesn't come through my mic. It's like it will pick up when I'm gonna be too loud for you guys and cut me off. I used to think it was Jason Waterfall. What are you talking about, James Mac? Well, I sounded like your audio cut out when you did that music. Yeah. Okay, so like, do you want me to do it quieter? Da, na, 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 na. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it and not try to sound like a saxophone. That sounded so bad. Did you guys know that Sabrina Carpenter is related to the woman who does the voice for Maggie Simpson and a lot of other voice? She's like a big voice actor. actress. I thought that was interesting, and I think she's a nepo baby, in my opinion. There's uh, like most people that get famous nowadays in the music industry are industry plants for sure. And that's something that I think is really interesting. I oh my God, TLC sings Chasing Waterfalls. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, next on the news, Jason drowned in a waterfall because Lydia said to go find himself there. Oh my goodness gracious. But anyways, okay, so I didn't finish telling my little story. After this, I'm gonna go, and we'll make it an hour, okay? I have a bad habit of saying I'm gonna go and then not going, and like I know that's annoying, that's horrible. Nobody I watch or listen to does that shit, and I need to cut it out. I'm sorry about it. I know that can be annoying. It's probably annoying to you guys most of all that are like sitting there in the chat, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go, and like 9 minutes goes by. So I'm not kidding. I'm really am trying to work on that. So I want to finish like in the comment where Aaron blocked me. He then proceeded to say he thinks I'm working with Titus. Aaron Atz, the one who literally lived on Titus's farm and went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, even after knowing Titus committed bestiality for 10 years of his life, well into his adulthood, and was very indecent in front of children on multiple occasions. He recorded he's got a recording of him ganging up with Titus and Stephanie against somebody who is calling out Titus for his indiscretions. What is wrong with him? He told me in a chat, some of you are the witnesses to it. I don't have my live chat replays in my chats, unfortunately, in my lives when when they're uploaded, like after we're done being live. He said, why are you what exactly did he say? Why do you even talk about Titus? You haven't even been there or you haven't even been here. Like he and Mr. Henson's really rubbing off on him. Like they think like it's like some territory that they've laid claim to. And that's like it is a problem. There are a lot of people with this kind of attitude in the countryside in Kentucky. In Kentucky way more than in Indiana that I experienced. Indiana's like nothing but freaking corn. And here, there, there's still a lot of people that own a lot of land, in my opinion, compared to I act like I know it all. I know, but like from my experience, and you will find right away. They will tell you right away if they're that kind of person. I know people that own a bunch of land around here. The people that this land used to be in their family's name, they're so nice. They couldn't be nicer to us. And it's like not everybody is like that. And, the people that are like that, like, stay away. That's kinda territorial. We've been around here longer than you. It's so funny to me. It's like Aaron thinks he's that because he's friends with somebody from there now. And, hey, Samo, you never heard of Sabrina Carpenter? Good for you. She's huge over here in our country, Samo. How are you, Samo? Um, oh my gosh, Mr. Carey. Oh, Billy Clancy, you have a good night too, and I hope you sleep well. Horse effort. Yeah, so it's like really rich coming from somebody like Aaron who literally like you were okay with Titus. You filmed yourself being okay with Titus and still associating with him. And I know like I don't want to make anybody feel bad. Like somebody in my chat said it like at least he's speaking out now. Like I do get that. I sincerely do get that. But the way they're trying to like build this community where like they're accusing people of being I don't like how there's Mr. Carey is like the FBI or like Anna's Mr. Carey, Anna's FBI or whatever. And then it's like, I'm just on here talking about like the most random shit. And like for some reason, like they don't like me because if you don't think about 100% of the things 100% the same way, then they're the kind of people that are like, oh, she said something I don't like. So, oh, like, that's the kind of mentality that gives a lot of religious people a bad name. Like, I think a lot of people cling to religion because they want to be able to judge others, not because they're trying to develop their own discernment for their own life and their own walk of faith. And Anna is somebody who's, proven to me, and I believe like God put her in my life. Not that I like was so prejudiced against religious people, but like People can be religious, people can follow a certain belief system and not point the finger at other people all the time or like judge other people for not being the exact same way. And to give Anna credit, like when that one falling out happened, she told me like right away, she's like, you can still be friends with her. You don't have to choose sides. I just didn't want to be in the chat anymore with her. But like, I don't want you to feel like you have to choose my side. And I'm like, that's what a really good friend does, like life is too short and like to like make people and I'm not saying this is what happened at all, but like some people would have been like, I'm not going to talk to you unless you definitely take my side. And that's just like so juvenile and immature. And um yeah, it's funny to me that Aaron Atz will block somebody that for explaining one of his own videos or comments that he made about that person in particular. And like, yeah, I've only made like literally one other comment on his page before, and that was when we were okay before he stopped talking to me completely because I wouldn't give him my full government name. And yeah, I've said all there is to say. Let me read a few comments. I'm gonna go. Well, Jay Hardy, thank you so much. I really appreciate all your support. Save a horse, ride a cowboy song, my version, save a horse from Titus. Save a horse from Titus. Oh, I don't have I seen that video? Are you serious? Did you really make that song? Do you avoid the religion bomb or feed the flame? I don't know exactly what you mean by that, Robert DeSantis. Yes, we can all just realize we are all humans and trying to grow. Yes, that is how I feel for sure. Abdullah, yes, it's stressful when it comes from family. Mr. Carey, you said it in court. I can say it in a song, no defamation here. Oh, here I go. It's 11:31. Okay. Um, Codename Squirrel. The Rooker, my name is Erin. I feel like you're attacking me. Oh, the Rooker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to be better about calling him Beyond Help because that's his little nickname for me. His channel's name is Beyond Category, and I call him Beyond Help. And then I kind of feel bad saying that. I do feel bad saying that. 'Cause there's nothing wrong with like, you know, being atypical. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not making fun, but this guy, like, he's not. Okay. I love you guys, and I hope to see you soon. I'm not going to say an exact date. We're going to take it day by day, and I really appreciate you hanging with me. And I totally missed my members only live. So nobody said, and I would love to post, does any member have any preference of when we do the members only live? That post, you might have to scroll a little bit, but there's a post on my page saying that. And if you have any preference at all, like, please let me know. I will do it when you want. Um, okay. Good night, Rooker. Good night, Jay Hardy. I'll email you. And Robert DeSantis, James Mack, um, Yoder. I'll talk to you soon. I have one horrible cat, a really mean one. I named him Ats. Oh, good night, under the sun. Oh, I am. You were lurking. Good night, I am. Love you guys. Bye.